easily distracted today. What's up?
Hello. Wrestling was like a buffet this weekend. We got some fire, some filler, and that one match that gave us emotional indigestion, but we're back for seconds anyway. He, she's, theys, and all those who slay. We are the action better than Tony Schiavone screaming, "It's Sting!" Welcome to
I
Kicking Out
got
2.
so fucking tired of that.
Welcome to Kicking Out 2. I'm Michael. With me as always is the suplex to my stunner, the chaos to my commentary. Tori, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. It was very much a buffet this last weekend. I still have shit I haven't watched yet.
That's right. I got
I've
seconds
got
and thirds I still need to go
several
back for.
shows that I have not gotten to yet.
I still got to watch the rest of Cluster, because I watched the one thing and that we're going to talk about,
Right.
and that's it. Um,
Same. I honestly kind of fast forwarded through a lot of it just because of that one thing.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there was a lot going on this weekend. And I also, like, we talked about it when we were streaming. So for anybody watching this, we try to stream live, pay-per-views live. We watch alongs. We don't stream the pay-per-views.
hmm
I'm
You get
not
in
calling them
trouble when you do
PLEs because
that.
it's just stupid. Um, I refuse. I'm not calling them PLEs. I'm not doing it. It's a
Fair enough.
pay-per-view.
Fair enough.
I'm still paying to view it, bitches. Like, may not be traditional, but I'm still paying to view it. Um, But there was so much this weekend,
There it
and a
is.
lot of it was super fun.
Absolutely. Um, I want to go ahead and get the headache out of the way, which is we will not be talking anything negative about the stuff that happened this weekend. I understand a lot of people have their own opinions of uh, companies being bad or people needing to lose their jobs because they're not happy with what's going on in the wrestling world. It's wrestling. Just watch it. Like it's
If
watch
you
it or
don't like it,
don't.
turn it off.
Yeah.
Do I think there were things to complain about this weekend? 1000%. Do I think people are way overreacting to a lot of them? 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely 100%. People are overreacting. It's just a show. If you didn't like Daredevil, you'd turn it off, wouldn't you? Like that's what it comes down to. Like,
If you didn't like Daredevil, just log off. We're done with you.
well, that too. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and get started here. As we always do, we're gonna go ahead and start with the news.
Is it working on it so it goes where it's
That's our
Is the
thing.
music actually playing? Because I
Yeah,
can't hear it.
yeah, it was
So,
playing.
oh, okay.
All right. Brodie Lee Jr. That's the first thing I want to bring up today. He is front and center. If you are looking at the thumbnail, he is front and center in our thumbnail right now. Brodie Lee Jr.'s debut at GCW Spring Break 9. This is the only time I'm going to say it this stream. Clusterfuck forever. The future made his first move today. We got to the Battle Royal at the end. A big surprise happened. The last person that came in, we see the wonderful music, and we hear the music, and see the wonderful background of Chris Bay himself.
I, for a second, was like, no.
You thought it was Bay.
No, I thought
Oh,
it was. I thought Chris Bay was going to get in the fucking ring.
well, that too. Because he looked
I
good.
was
He was
like,
walking good. So I was like, maybe he goes in there and throws a little. But he stands in the middle. Of course, both the people in the ring, which at the time was Joey Janela and
Megan Bane,
there we go, Megan Bain. I was trying
the
to say Amanda,
Megasis.
but the reason Amanda's name is in my brain, but I couldn't
Yes, there is.
couldn't get it out. Um,
Isn't
they're in
she
the ring and they're
Norwegian or
like, come
anything?
on in. And he does the old NWO. And out
And
comes Brodie Jr., -1 himself, all 13 years old, like
is he
maybe
only
50 pounds of
13?
him. He's only 13. Um, maybe
How did they
50,
get around that?
50 pounds soaking wet. Well,
Literally.
again, we like you talked a little bit about them talking about training him, and it's he didn't take any bumps. They didn't hit him. They didn't connect with anything. So
They 100% protected the shit out of him, which I love.
yeah.
And of course, and I think you and I have talked about this since this weekend. Amanda, God love her. I fucking love this woman. Wake says, I just woke up. ... Brodie did what?
I love it.
Now, to be fair, I had tweeted at her, was like, what did you think? You know, how are you feeling? You're doing a great job. The heels are all proud of him. And I was like, nothing. That sweet boy did nothing. He was in bed like a good kid.
That's right.
And throwaway tweet, just being funny. 12,000 people have seen that tweet.
That's awesome.
I'm like, I'm sorry. What?
It just shows it's the stupid stuff we do sometimes that goes viral. It's the weirdest thing in the world. But yeah, he comes in. He has a super kick party with man like Darius. He evaded a chair shot by Janela. He then eliminated Megan Bayne by accident.
Is man like Darius somebody I need to look up? I've never heard of him.
So he is an independent star. He's pretty well known there. His name really got prevalent because he did a tryout for the WWE ID program.
Oh, okay.
And they took a real shine to him. So there's a likelihood that he's going to be in that.
I just didn't know the name, and I was like, whatever. I mean, he was helping Brodie. He A1 on my list, whatever.
Brodie showing his skills. He sat up like The Undertaker. He kipped up like HBK, and then hit a Stone Cold Stunner to eliminate Joey Janela.
But before this, did you see that single leg takedown roll through into an ankle lock?
I did. He was very.
Tell me you've been working with T.J. Wilson without telling me you've been working with T.J. Wilson.
That's right.
That was
a lariat that would make his daddy happy. Turned Joey Janela inside out.
As much as I've heard horrible things about Joey Janela, God love him for this one. Because he sold the shit out of all of it.
Yeah. I mean, we always talk about the next generation, and like the next generation's arrived. That kid, like, he's only 13. He's in there with a presence already. Obviously, it's all fun and games, like, right? Like, we're not going to say that he went in there and he put on a contested contest against these people, but the fact that he hung in there, he did these moves. He looked fairly smooth for a 13-year-old kid.
He sold well. Facial expressions were good. Like, I have very minimal complaints about this. Like, I loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
So yes, in 5 years when he turns 18, he's gonna, and this is the only comparison I have, he's gonna be better than Nick Wayne.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's saying something, because Nick Wayne is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, Nick Wayne's great. And I won't even say for his age, he's great.
Yeah.
He's getting really, really good at what he does.
I know Javon is super young. I can see, again, I can't imagine how good Brodie Lee Jr. is going to be in 5 years.
Yeah, because once he gets that, like, he's kid athletic, right? Like, when you're 13 years old, you're athletic as a kid. As he starts getting some of that testosterone, as he gets a little bit bigger, like, he's really going to come into his own, and I can't wait for that to happen. Especially if he takes any size from his daddy. Oh, Jesus Christ. I cannot wait. But great showing for him. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, go to Triller TV. It's I know it's called Clusterfuck 2025. There's a precursor to it, a name before the name too, but I don't remember what the pre of the name was. But just look up Clusterfuck. That's what I did, and it'll pop up. Another thing will pop up too, but it's an old thing. So watch the new one, the one for 2025. Next, we're going to go ahead and hit it hard and heavy. We're going to talk about WrestleMania 41, but we're going to do it pretty quick. We're just going to go high level, talk about who won, give our a little bit of thoughts, and then we'll move on to the next news item. So a weekend. Do we want to hit
every match, or do we just want to hit some of the bigger ones? Because there were some that were just
Well, and if they're just just say they're we'll move on. But yeah, just for those people that may not have been able to see it, any new fans that haven't watched WrestleMania, let's go ahead and just go through who won just real quick, especially because it might impact some of the stuff we talked about that happened on Raw. So
fair enough.
World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso defeated Gunther. Jay shockingly ends Gunther's historic reign with a sleeper, his own move, in pretty quick succession. I know I was really hard on this match when we were watching it live. After a day of kind of reflecting on it a little bit, I get it more now, especially with what's happened on Raw, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see where we're coming from with that. I still think it probably should have held on a little longer than he did, but
I agree.
his match with Ilya, like if you look at the ending of those two matches of when he ended the historic streak he had with the NXT UK title, it was mirror image of it. So if he can do it for Ilya, he can do it for Jay. I can kind of get that.
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of opens up, like, can Jay maybe get some more moves to his repertoire? Because I think one of the main things a lot of people complain about is he's super kick, he's splash, he's spear, and that's kind of it.
He's a mix of the Usos and Roman.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
We need to kind of mix some more stuff in there and get a well-rounded moveset. I don't want to say it too loud. I don't want Hangman to yell at me for saying moveset. But what did you think of that match?
I haven't caught it all.
Still haven't.
I mean,
you were sitting right here with me, Tori.
I know. I'm a slacker.
Anybody who doesn't get that, go watch the replay of our stream of night one.
Yeah. It was entertaining. It's one of those things. I agree. He should have held on a little bit longer or gotten out. Something else happened, slapped him back into it, and Gunther's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, and I heard someone say this morning in another thing I was listening to of maybe pass out. I'd be kind of okay with that too. If you just had it on tight enough where you just made him pass out, okay. Then you kind of save that a little bit.
It would have made the other thing we're going to talk about that much more impactful.
Yeah, that could be for sure. We had the World Tag Team Champs, the New Day versus the War Raiders.
The New Day were not the champs for this.
They were not the champs for this. They are the champs now, though. Rightfully so.
Yeah, they are.
The New Day was right. They did nothing wrong. They finally got their tag team titles back. This was one with what was supposed to be a little bit of shenanigans. This is one of those things where, like, I'll nitpick a little bit. So Eric's lying down. He's being covered by Woods. Kofi grabs the foot. Eric doesn't really move. Like he's trying to fight the fact that his foot's being held.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of movement would be cool, but it was a good match, though.
I felt like there were several things like that throughout the weekend.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of just little nitpick things.
And honestly, I will say, I'm pretty sure this is the War Raiders' first Mania match that was like them against one other team.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's usually multi-team matches, and the other ones they've been in.
It's a huge stage. And I'm not... War Machine has been around forever.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize... I watched a thing today on Up, Up, Down, Down. Ivar apparently was part of Kofi's training. That's how long they've been around. At least Ivar's been around.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he said that. I was like, holy shit.
It's one of those things that they've done a lot, but they haven't done anything like this.
No.
So it's a huge stage. Like I am in no way saying they fumbled. I'm not saying they did bad. It's just little things. But it was a good match. It was fun, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got Jade Cargill defeating Naomi.
That was a great match.
It was a great match. A lot of people hated this match for some reason, and I think it was just the premise of it. Like, it was hard to kind of get behind it a little bit.
It was.
But I mean, it was a good match. Naomi carried it, and it absolutely has the capability of doing so. She's been around long enough; she can carry that match.
Honestly, to me, this is the kind of match that shows you the level that Naomi is on.
Absolutely.
And to me, it's higher than any level she's been before, And I don't say that to discount any other place that she's wrestled in their women's division, but Naomi's on another level right now.
Yeah. Well, and so she's finally locked in to being a superstar. And so
Yeah.
we haven't seen that in her be a heel. We've seen that with her being a face. We've seen that with the dancing and the glow and all that stuff. This is a whole new thing that I think she can take even further because
And
of what she's learned over the last few years.
her being a face, I don't think she would have gotten past the level she was at.
No, it was very much like, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this, but it was very like R-Truth type of
Yeah.
thing of like, this is your gimmick and this is what you do. You'll come out here and you'll do the dancey and the glowy and all that stuff. And that's what you're here for. You're not here for
Yep.
the great match. You're not here for the title win. You're not here for any of that. You're here to be that entertainment for the kids.
Yep. I agree completely.
Um,
But I'm ready to see what they do with her. I hope they give her something that matters.
mhm.
I still think there's a lot to do with this storyline.
Yeah,
At some point, Bianca's winning the title. I don't know when it's happening, but I'm pretty sure next year's Mania is Bianca Jade for the title.
I could see that. I could
And I'm
absolutely see that.
100% here for it because by that point, I feel like Jade, again, not taking away from her ability because I can't do that shit. That woman's amazing.
That's right.
But being on that level, it's different.
It is. It's a lot
And
different.
so I think she will be in a much better place and ready to do more by next Mania.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We've got the United States Championship, Jacob Fatu against, LA Knight. LA Knight's defeated. I think anybody with a pulse called this because Jacob Fatu is a force of nature. Even just his presence coming out with that mask, which we found out later was made by the same person who made the Fiend's masks.
That mask was so good.
Yeah. WWE shot me to get on that yesterday.
The second they let him start talking, it was over.
Yeah. He outshined Solo, and it's nothing against Solo.
It's not. Jacob has a presence.
Yeah.
They tried to give Solo a presence. We just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
He was great as an enforcer. If you'd have kept him in that role, he'd have been fine. I feel like he would have elevated more than he has in that role.
Well, I think it's the difference of, so Roman finally figured out how to talk to the fans, where the fans will listen and they're enjoying it and it keeps them engaged. But when he didn't, though, before he figured that out, he had Paul. Now, you didn't have Paul because you were going through this whole, like, Paul was actually Roman's guy and Roman's left, and we're trying to figure out where he sits with the new bloodline. If he would have brought Jacob in and immediately started letting him talk and have him be the mouthpiece and have him just sitting in the back, arms crossed, being the boss, I think that would have helped him. But he stepped straight into the role of trying to be Roman.
And he's not there.
No, he's not. Nothing against him. He'll get there, but
I was not a fan of Roman's run, but that was just personally because I thought it was you have the titles, do more with them.
Yeah.
But
once you got that Roman schedule, that didn't matter.
I'm going to say it. Roman is a generational talent.
He is. He absolutely is.
I didn't like the whole thing at first, but watching him grow and develop from the silent enforcer of the Shield, the embarrassment at the hands of Cena, the leukemia and leaving, coming back, and having probably the best 5-year run of any wrestler ever.
Yeah. There's a reason they put the company on his back for that entire period.
They put the titles on his back. I still maintain they put the company on Seth's back.
Well, yeah, because you have to have that good foil.
Yes.
Which we'll get to Seth and being a foil here shortly too. We had El Grande Americano was supposed to face one Rey, ended up facing a different Rey. Rey Mysterio got hurt. It came down to the day of trying to decide whether he was going to be in the match or not. He said during a pre-show that he was out, but it gave Rey Fenix a match. So the second Lucha brother to get a spot at his first WrestleMania within his first year of being in the company. High flying spectacle, delivered absolute excellent work. And especially being that they only had maybe 24 hours notice, because they probably had the thought in their brain the moment Ray got hurt, but just hadn't pulled the trigger until they knew whether they had to or not. But just having that short of a time frame to work out a match between the two, because it's a whole different style. It's like Rey Mysterio is
Rey
great.
Fenix is a whole different.
Yeah, Rey Fenix is a circus delay act, and seeing what he does is amazing. But El Grande Americano, or Chad Gable for those that aren't buying into the gimmick, is a great in-ring technician, great instincts. They had an amazing match. I didn't really care for the match, but that's because I don't care for this gimmick. It's silly, and it's not that I don't like silly wrestling. It's just it's just silly.
I hate it. I've been very open about it. I hate this gimmick.
Yeah.
I think it feeds into stereotypes. I think it's horrible. I hate what they're doing with him. Why don't you just call him Mr. America? Because either one's just as racist.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, though. Like, I will say this. I lost traction on the gimmick when they decided to back down on the gimmick. Because when it first came out and it was like, it's, Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. And then everybody threw a big hissy fit because they said Gulf of America, not realizing it's satire. Wrestling is silly. And so then they backed up and they're like, okay, well, Gulf of Mexico, we're sorry. No, go ahead and go full bore on it. Like, don't back up just because you got a little bit of flack on it. That's when I lost a little bit of run on it. Because now I think they're watering down what they were going to do. Would it have been entertaining if we would have just kept going? Or are we still would we have just still had this watered down what we have now? But it was a good match overall. Nothing against the two guys in the ring, just not behind the gimmick. From one hot mess to another, WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton defeated Charlotte Flair. Not to say it wasn't a hard-hitting good match, because it was, but it was oil and water with these two.
I am going to say something that I'm sure people will disagree with me on. Charlotte sandbagged the shit out of Tiffany.
I'm not saying she didn't, yeah.
And to Tiffany's credit, she powered through and showed off a lot of strength that I didn't think she had.
Yeah.
Like, I was super impressed. Because, like I said, there's a couple of times that she deadlifted.
Yeah.
Charlotte. And when I say deadlifted, Charlotte didn't help at all.
Yeah.
I don't think she was dropping her body weight, but she wasn't helping.
Right. And I will give her credit. I'll give her possible credit. It could be that they just don't have any damn chemistry. Because normally when you have a big match between two people that have never fought before, what normally happens the weeks before that? There's normally like a random tag team match with you and, a different face and a different heel that are facing off of WrestleMania to kind of grease that a little bit.
Yeah.
And like get used to being in the ring together.
And
this was the first time. Every other time has been a pull apart brawl or a beat down. It hasn't been an actual match.
Was this Charlotte's first match back?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. Like,
then I'm gonna give a little bit on that. I didn't somebody said it and I was like, surely not.
Yeah, no, this was it. She got back from injury and came back to that.
I don't understand how she comes back, wins the Rumble. Did she get hurt again after the Rumble?
I don't think she did. Well, here, you go ahead and talk. I'm going to see.
Okay, what was the next match?
The next one is the triple threat, the main event.
Oh, okay. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, triple threat. We all knew some shit was going to go down when this got announced.
Mm-hmm.
We were all excited about it. I called and we talked about it. I said, I don't remember if you did. I said, I think you said, what if? And once you said, what if, I said, no, that's going to happen. I said, that's happening. Great match.
Just real
Great
quick,
match.
fifth match back. So she had a SmackDown against BFAB,
That's right.
2 house shows against Piper Niven, another SmackDown against Michin, and then WrestleMania.
When was
So
her last TV match?
her last TV match was 3/28, so about a month
A
before.
month. She
Yeah.
had a full month layoff.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give her some leeway on that. Booker said it tonight because I don't know if you watched any of NXT.
I haven't yet.
Noam Dar came back.
Nice.
And Booker said it. He's blown up. He said, no, treadmill can't prepare you for ring work.
No, it cannot.
And I'm not saying Charlotte didn't do any ring work, but doing ring work in a performance center setting and doing it at WrestleMania, 2 different things.
Yeah.
And again, I've never done it. I'm not acting like I know better or am better than Charlotte.
Well, there's so many
going
things.
off of what I've seen,
Yeah.
what I've heard, everything.
There's so many things that can impact it. On the same thing today. So if you haven't got to watch it, I'm going to go ahead and shout it out. There was a Superstar Save Point. It was the New Day with Motor City Machine Guns. They were playing the new Final Fight. And the way the Superstar Save Point works is they kind of just have a conversation about like where they started, how long they've been in wrestling, all this stuff. One of the things they talked about though is when Woods went down with the Achilles. And he's like, when I came back, I decided I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to wrestle different. And so I tried to beef up to 225. I've never been 225. I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be more powerful. He's like, I got to 220. And our first match at me back at 220, I was blown up within minutes. And I couldn't figure out why. And it was because that the time off and you added the weight to it, and then it wasn't the same. It's not the same as being at home and on the treadmill and trying to like do that. Once you get in the ring, it's a whole different beast. And you see it all the time with when they do the combines and they bring in people from football and from basketball and gymnasts and all this stuff, and even amateur wrestlers. And they get in there and they get blown up immediately because it's a whole different animal to be running nonstop for a 10-minute match. There's no
100%.
rest period.
100%. There's no cardio you can do that can prepare you for what you're going to get in the ring.
Yeah.
You can try. You can do some of it, but there's only so much you can do to get ready for what's about to happen to you the second you step between those ropes.
Yep. So we'll give her the leeway then, a little bit of that.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to back off a little on how much criticism I was giving her because that's a lot.
Hey, Joe Hendry just showed up on NXT.
Shut up.
Yeah, Joe Hendry, yeah.
That man is having a weekend.
He is having a weekend, which we'll talk about that too. All right, so the triple threat, you had Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Seth Rollins gets the dub, which I don't think any of us questioned. We kind of figured he was going to get the dub. We also kind of figured that Paul Heyman would be a part of it. Now, how it happened, we didn't call. Because what ended up happening is we find out Paul is fully turned to the dark side. He gets in the ring. He's supposed to be tossing a chair to Punk. And so he tosses a chair to Punk. Roman looks upset at what's going on there. Heyman gets in the ring. Punk's about to use the chair. Low blow. Then he's talking trash to Punk. You made me do this. My tribal chief made me do this. Trying to figure out what's going on. Well, now tribal chief gets the chair. He's about to waylay Punk. And then Paul points at Seth. He's like, it's perfect. It's right there.
On the ropes.
I display this to you, which is it's the opposite. It's the mirror opposite of what we've seen 1,000 times with Seth and Roman. Of now Seth's back is turned. One thing I noticed on this is not once did not once did Seth cringe or wince,
Flinch,
flinch,
nothing.
anything. So we knew at that point the wheels are turning. Roman also gets a low blow, and then we find out that this entire time, maybe the entire time, we don't know. We haven't heard the full story yet. We should have heard it on Monday. That didn't happen either. But we find out that he's in league with Seth. And so Seth ends up winning it. They leave together. There was a video that came out today, though, of after the cameras went off the air.
Okay.
And Punk and Roman shared like a bit of a look. And so I think they're teasing that, especially with what happened on Monday, which we'll talk about, of them maybe working together, which would be kind of cool. But night 2, there was a Sin City street fight. Drew McIntyre defeated Damian Priest. I said it on the stream.
Was that the opening match?
It wasn't. I don't know why it's in that order on my screen, but we'll deal with it as it is. It was just violence. That's what was good about it. It was two big men just beating the living shit out of each other. I said on the stream, I could not get into the story. I don't know why. It makes sense as a story. Like Damian was there through that entire downfall of Drew, between the Money in the Bank cash in and all that. Makes perfect sense why he's mad at Damian. I just for some reason couldn't get behind it.
The women's triple threat was the first match.
Was the first match? Okay.
And
well, we'll definitely talk about that one next. Then, what did you think about the two meaty men?
It was the craziness we expected. No complaints. Overall, really no complaints. It was what we expected.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Damian might win, but you and I had talked about it and said it made more sense for Drew to win, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm good with it. Like I enjoyed the match. It was fun, and it was exactly what we expected it to be.
So a friend of the show, Jess Skywalker, catch her out over on the Lowdown, almost every day of the week apparently.
Seems like it.
I need to write down her schedule at some point. But she had said something that I kind of agree with. They never left like the ringside area, and it was a street fight.
So
her saying that made me kind of fantasy book this a little bit, and I don't think you were in the recap that they did, and I said this in their chat. To me, what I would have done is I would have had them start brawling, not have the match, just start brawling in the pre-show. And kind of, every time you check in, like when you do a backstage interview with The Miz, and then they're in the background brawling, and then you do a thing with Big E, and they're back there brawling.
Yeah.
And then start the match with them still brawling and finally rolling out to the ringside. Or even have them just like wherever it starts, have it start in a casino. Have it start on the Sin City street.
So
something like that.
What I would have done it somewhat like that. I would have started like that, done the pull apart right before the match was supposed to happen, and have anybody, holding back Damian because Drew came out 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Once Drew walks off, then you give him the info. Hey, you need to wait because your request was granted, and whoever that was is going to play your theme.
Mm-hmm.
And have Damian go, okay, I can put this off for that. So Drew gets his entrance, Damian gets his entrance, Drew meets him halfway up the ramp. Like he comes out and then they just brawl the rest of the time in the around that area.
Yeah.
I think the problem with them going away from ringside is the setup and the sheer number of people.
Yeah. Because God forbid you hit someone like with an ATV or something. Drunk ass
You didn't have to
Stone
do that
Cold.
to him. You didn't have to do that to him. And apparently Dom's golf cart hit somebody too.
I saw that. Now they got hit. The
I'm like,
girl,
God damn,
the girl
y'all.
got bumped. That person got ran the hell over.
Right. I'm like, but I think that's the problem with a match like this at a show like this.
Yeah.
There's just too many people. If they go in the crowd, you lose control too quickly.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you have
yeah.
too much of a chance of I hate to say it, but a New Jack type situation.
Well, and that's why I was saying kind of like I did of like you do it as like vignettes of, they're fighting a little bit in the casino and then you cut away to whatever you're actually supposed to be talking about. Then they're out in the street and they're doing it there. 60-second of seeing them fight out there. And then next thing. And you're just kind of a little bit at a time seeing them in different areas. So that way when they get to the ring, it's okay because you've seen them fight everywhere. So, anyway, so now we'll talk about the triple threat now because that actually was the opener for night one. Women's World Championship triple threat: Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. Banger of a match.
These three tore the house down.
Absolutely. Io retains.
Which I think we had kind of both agreed that was what was going to happen.
It's what we called. I will say I hoped that she would win. I did think that we probably were going to get Bianca or Rhea, but for the fact that they were little sistering her through this entire build, to me, giving Io the win is the only thing that made sense. You don't push her around this entire time and then not have her win the match. It was a great ending. I did have one hiccup with the match, but I'll talk about that when we talk about another match.
Okay.
But
I love this match start to finish.
Yeah.
I thought the entrances were amazing. I thought the fact that Bianca's stepdaughter was up there for her entrance was super cool.
Yep.
Rhea's was just Rhea's. I mean, it was fantastic.
Referencing the Batman who laughs was really great. I love that.
The Joker look was so good.
I will say, so sorry, that is two things that I had a problem with. The other one was they got special entrances, and Io's entrance was just Io's entrance.
Io.
They should have done something special for her.
Here's
She's the
my
champ.
only concern with that. Does doing a special entrance for Io, depending on how you do, I mean, it obviously depends on how you do it. But how do you do it and not come off as racist / appropriation? Because they've never done it right for anybody of Oriental descent.
I wouldn't have done anything Oriental based. Probably what I would have done is I would have remixed her theme to add more like what's the term for like bass drop and all that stuff, that dubstep.
EDM, basically.
EDM, yeah. I would have added more to that to the beginning and flashing lights and all that.
Okay.
Like I would have just added more to that start.
That's fair enough.
And then her come out.
I can see that.
No, I definitely wouldn't have done anything Oriental because no, they do not have a good history with that at all.
They did something to that effect for Sting. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
And so I feel like it's hard to do an entrance for her that's not going to come across horribly.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
So I'm with you. They should have done something, but the question becomes, what do you do?
Yeah. I don't disagree. It's just, to me, like, with her coming out first of all, like, that was weird. Because I'm big about, like, you wait on the champion doesn't wait on you. And then her not having her own special entrance, it was just weird to me, but it is what it is. let's see. Yeah, the street fight was after that. Which, just as a side note on the street fight, Drew's tweet in the middle of the match, keeping that as being a thing,
Fucking
perfect.
classic.
After that, we had the Fatal 4-Way match, Intercontinental Championship. We had Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta. This was a really, really good match. I don't think we had any doubt that it was going to be. You have 4 really talented people. Here's where I'm going to say I have a problem with the EO match because of this match, because the ending was almost exactly the same.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So that was my only issue, is that these 2 road agents, whoever did the 2 different matches, should have probably talked to each other about that.
Yeah.
Or we separate these matches, because having them almost back to back like that, like it eked on my brain all day until I thought about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. EO was stuck up on the corner after getting posted.
Which was an amazing yeah. moment.
Both were great spots. It's just, it's the
you could have moved this match down 2 matches and nobody would have thought twice about it.
Yeah. It's just weird. But so Dom does it, and he does it not quite the way that I called it, but close enough.
Damn close.
Pins down there in the pin. He was pinning Braun, if I remember correctly. I didn't have that written down of which one he was pinning. I think he was pinning Braun.
I'm pretty sure. I think Pence had got taken out on the floor.
After the coup de grace, goes to pin him. We forget that Dom had been posted up on one of the corners, the nutshot move if he fell and got hit down. All of a sudden, frog splash out of nowhere, and you would think he would try to, roll up Braun, but no, he rolled up Finn. 1, 2, 3, got the pin.
And that frog splash was one of the better ones he's done.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the better ones. He's getting better and better.
Yeah. You can see the work that he's putting in when he's not eating chicken tendies.
But the amazing thing out of all of it is he gets the win. The place goes nuts. People
tell me we booed him for no fucking reason without telling me.
Yeah.
That crowd went first.
People boo the shit out of this man to where he can't even talk on the mic. I kind of want it flipped now, to be honest. I want him to come out there and get cheered so loud he can't talk. I want to see if we can flip that. But yeah, he won. It was an amazing moment, amazing match. Kudos to all 4 of those dudes. They made that a very entertaining match.
They killed it. They killed it.
Randy Orton comes out. A lot of speculation on who his person's going to be, and none of us. I had not seen one person on the internet, and there's probably that one guy in a corner somewhere that had it, but I saw no one.
I had seen a few. I had seen a few that said, "What if?"
Okay.
It was all of "What if?" And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Because in my head, it didn't make sense.
Yep. The only problem I had is that no one said his name. So,
fair enough.
The only person that said his name was AJ Francis, which he didn't even say his name. He just said someone better not say his name.
We're blaming AJ Francis, okay? We're blaming that guy.
We're blaming the you're too slow to fly. So pops up there. Joe Hendry's music hits. He's doing the back pose thing. The pop that he got, this was a litmus test. You cannot tell me otherwise. This was a test to see, 1,
100%.
how's he going to react on the big stage? And 2, how are the fans going to take to him on a big stage? And the fans showed up. They were singing his song. The only thing that it kind of hurt my soul is he was doing the arm waving and nobody was doing it with him. And it's just the camera shot would have been perfect.
There's a few people that were, I think this is one of those that people knew his name, but didn't know all of that.
Yeah. But he comes out, gets to the ring.
That pop was top 5 of the weekend.
Oh, for sure. Big pop for him. He comes out, pretty decent match. Orton sells for him, and this is the thing that's wild to me is I'm seeing so many people post online of he was buried and it's TNA's champion. And look, was it a one-sided affair? Mostly. But Orton did sell for him. And the only thing that caught him up, and this is the way you can spin it, right? The only thing that caught him up is he got caught up in the grandeur and he wanted to do that audience pop. Not realizing who he's in the ring with.
I have seen this. They buried him crap for the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What? This man is the TNA champion and walked out on a WrestleMania stage to one of the biggest pops of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, how he lost was one of the most memeable things ever. And the one he ate second time was pure classic Randy.
Yeah.
This man wrestled Randy Orton on his 20th WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lost in a short match. Nobody they put in there was going to fucking win.
Right. Well, and look how we flipped this, right? Because, like, would him and KO have been an amazing match? Yeah, it would have. Yes. It would have been a fight. It would have been a barn burner.
I don't know that if that match happens, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Orton wins.
No.
I think that's probably the most toss-up win of the weekend.
Yeah. But flipping it to now being this match, and I said it in the post-stream comments when I was part of that post-stream, is sometimes the moments are more important than the match. I have seen that GIF everywhere. Every time I scroll through Twitter, it's just there. I've seen memes on TikTok of like, when you trash talk your friend, you're not paying attention. Like things like that. Like I've seen it all over the place. He did not get buried. He got his name out there. He was actually on Busted Open, and I recommend anybody who's trying to be an advocate for Joe Hendry, listen to his interview on Busted Open, because he'll tell you why that was one of the most important moments of his career. Because he wrestled, like you said, like read down the accolades of Randy Orton. It being his 20th WrestleMania.
1,000 people.
Yeah.
I don't care how short the match is. That man brought another company's title to WrestleMania in front of 63,000 people.
And had his this is the part that fascinates me. It had his lower card, his TNA lower card, which is a special little graphic that they just have for him in TNA. They brought that over just so it's like, this is a special dude. Like,
you said it yourself.
No way he got buried.
This is absolutely a litmus test for him.
Yeah.
The second that contract is up, unless TNA absolutely backs up the Brinks truck and dumps it all on his doorstep, this is not his last WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, and then like also depends on the what the actual contract is between WWE and TNA, because there's all that underlining. Right. They may have bought them things, especially because we'll talk about that news in a minute. They're all about buying companies right now.
Don't get me started on that.
But we're gonna move on. Logan Paul defeated AJ Styles. I figured this would happen. Didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen. But AJ Styles gets kind of distracted because Karrion Kross is out there, and he's like, "Hey, take these brass knucks, knock him the hell out. Do it for us. Do it for the boys." And AJ doesn't want to go back to that old AJ. And so he gets caught up and then gets that amazing finisher that Logan Paul does not deserve.
Are you going to talk about the Karrion Kross interview?
If you want to, we can definitely bring it up.
Let me run to the bathroom. Keep going.
Sure.
And I'll come back to that in a minute.
All right. We'll talk about Karrion Kross' interview after we run through these real quick. So we had that match. Logan Paul wins. Logan Paul was due a win. As much as I don't like the guy, he's lost a lot. So him getting this win actually, beefs him up. And plus, like, he's not the one that's going to beat John Cena, but him going up against this new John Cena, Like, it seems kind of a foregone conclusion he's going to end up in that role somewhere. Maybe he wins the Money in the Bank coming up. No telling what. Then we had the women's tag team championship. Again, we had to have a fill-in person because someone had something happen to them, which we, found out was part of the plan to begin with, was not actually an injury or anything. Poor Bailey getting told kind of once again, like, we're going to go this route instead, which is sad. Just sad. But we find out that Becky Lynch is filling in for Bailey, and so Becky got a huge pop. The match was good. I don't want to say anything against the ladies. It was a good match. Lyra was wilting all over the ring. She had decided she was going to put flowers all through her hair, or not flowers, feathers, excuse me, all through her hair. Every time she moved, feathers were just flying, just molting in the ring. But the Irish duo ends up winning it. Her being in this match as the replacement, thinking of kayfabe, thinking of the storyline of Bailey got hurt, it makes sense of why she was part of it. She was the one that was originally trying to help Lyra when she was back in NXT, and she was teaming with her down there, trying to give her advice, trying to help her become better. Which then we end up in a situation on Monday that made it even make less sense. We'll get to that later. Then we had the main event, undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes, getting his 17th win, his 17th championship, beating the 16-time World Championship record of recognized championships.
Here's the other crazy part of this. All 17 were in the same company.
Yeah. That to me is what makes it even more profound, is that, we say recognized wins, and that's because back in the day, the NWA would go to, Halifax, and he would lose to whoever the champion was there, whoever the big person was there, and they'd run it back the next night and he win it back. Well, they counted that as a win, but the whole point of it was to have the people go home happy the night before. The next Sunday, he's got to fly back out. He needs the belt back because he's got to do that on TV. So, but they would do it just for that short little, here, let's make the fans happy and give them a good surprise. So yeah, him winning them all 17 in the same company, insane.
Yeah.
This was another one I was really, really hard on when we were watching it live. And again, retrospect and thinking it back, what is John Cena's character right now?
I was just about to say, he did exactly what he said
killing
he was going to do.
The business. So him doing, half-ass 5 moves of doom. He does one shoulder block and just kind of sits there. Messes with his shoes, messes with his knee pad, does the other shoulder block.
The absolute genius of this whole thing is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
not a
fan of it because we're used to a certain pace and everything with Cena. But looking at the technical, like the mental side of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and with me, if I was booking, I would have swapped the 2 main events. I would have put the triple threat on Sunday. I would have put their championship match on the Saturday, because it did feel really deflated at the end of it. Because what did we as wrestling fans, and this is something Big Mike talked about after he joined us, is what did we as wrestling fans do? We built up this story in our brain of like, well, last year we had Taker and we had Seth and we had all this stuff happen. We had, 5 Hall of Famers come in there, and that's what it took to beat Roman Reigns. It took Travis Scott coming in and not even doing anything to beat Cody Rhodes. And so we built this thing up in our brain of what this should be, and we got disappointed because we built something up bigger than what they did. But it's the story. John Cena saying, I don't have to wrestle. And I don't have it in my 3, you don't have it in your 3, so we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about Cena on Monday Night Raw on this. That was solidified in his in-ring promo because he pointed to the screen and 36 showed up on the screen. And he said, 36 dates. Time flies by quick. And he starts counting the different dates he's been there. And so it's counting down on the screen. And he goes, those are dates I have. Let me be clear. Those aren't matches I have. They're dates I have. And so then one more ticks away because he's like, I can do this. What I think it was 32. 32 more times.
Yeah.
I don't have to wrestle.
Yep.
So that's the gimmick. He's killing the business. He's killing.
And he said that, and
he did
so, it. Yeah, 100%. So back to the Karrion Kross thing.
Yes.
I'm the first to admit, when he first came up to the main roster from NXT, I'm like, fuck are you doing? This is terrible. Then they released him. Then they brought him back. And again, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah.
If you look at all of the puzzle pieces of everything he's done since he came back and they kind of stopped with the Final Testament, every single person he has interacted with, except for AJ, has broke back. And it's one of those things. He's not gotten his flowers at all. I watched him on the Chris Bay show. I watched him at Bloodsport, which they showed the Bloodsport footage on NXT, and I was like, oh, fuck. I love that they're acknowledging stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that this man is brilliant in the business. And he's got nothing.
Yeah.
And he came on, I guess it was the Raw review or whatever the fuck they call it, but they did it for Mania.
Yeah.
It was Monday morning, but I don't know when it happened. I'm guessing Sunday night.
I'm guessing.
He cuts 2.5-minute promo about how he'd been told to be a good soldier by Goldberg and you'll get what you want. And somebody said, hey, he said, I have lots of ideas. And they're like, okay, give us a good one. And he gives them one. And they're like, no, that's a great idea. That's just for those people.
We wanted
you have a good
ideas.
Yeah. And he cussed a couple times. And at the end of it, and he's like, whoever's in the truck, go fuck yourself. Or whatever he said. I was like, oh, shit.
Now, whether this was unscripted or whether this was the plan, to me, the shine of that entire thing was Scarlett. Because the look on her face was, hey, I enjoy our big house. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because she just had this like, shut up. So the fact that they're kind of playing it that way where she was even surprised of like, holy hell.
Then she tweeted about standing behind him no matter what.
Yeah.
But this man needs a push.
Yeah.
I understand their fear of doing it. Because he's one of those that if you push him, the fans are going to fall in love with him.
Yeah.
And then you have a Daniel Bryan situation, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a few of those. There's a few people. I mean, we just talked about Dominic, and like he wins an IC belt, and he was at the press conference after, or not the press conference, but the table with Big E and all them, and they were European chanting his name, like they were trying, I should say. Americans don't do it very well. But yeah, so they're chanting his name behind him. They're going to have to realize at some point you can't keep making him a heel. At some point, you're going to have to give him that face rub. And it's the same thing with Karrion, is at some point you can't just leave him in the back, because now he's showing the world how entertaining he is. And to me, like, it all started with Chris Van Vliet, and I give him all the credit in the world for, he's been on that podcast, I think 3 times now. And between him interacting with Jesse Ventura, him interacting with Will Sasso, and having an interview by himself, just him and Chris, he showed his personality. And his personality will not be denied. He needs to have some sort of spot on him. And if you can't do that on the main roster, give him back to Sean.
Yeah.
Put him back down there, because you got some kids there that are ready to come up, and he could easily go down there and help run the show. And keep it afloat while you're rebuilding the brand.
They're going to end up being forced to push Cross just because the people are going to start pushing for it.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Your hand's going to get forced whether you like it or not. So it's a matter of what you want to do with it, whether you control it or not.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving right along in the news, we found out in the pre-show of WrestleMania that WWE had acquired AAA in a global domination strategy, apparently, because they took this company that was doing business with AEW at one point. Like, they were part of their Forbidden Door stuff. And we just kind of, nope, that's ours now. Obviously some things that kind of question on this. You had the people there in the lineup when they said it. One of the things I want to go ahead and dispel is someone was like, well, Andrade looks really pissed off. There are shots of them later, and all of them are having a blast.
He's having a blast. Yeah.
So that was him being stoic for the moment. It wasn't that he was unhappy. But we got Worlds Collide coming up in June, which we already knew was going to be in Mexico. And now that we found out that there is a AAA involvement in this, that just opens that up.
That's what they're doing. NXT AAA and Money in the Bank that weekend.
Yeah, which they already kind of did a little bit of cross on that, because we kind of included, we didn't say it when we did the rundown, but we kind of included Vikingo in the Ray and Americano match.
Stable match.
So we're already kind of, starting to grease the wheels a little bit of including some of these people.
Here's my beef. Because I want to say it wasn't more than a couple hours after this was announced, somebody said, watch them call it NXT Mexico. Please don't. AAA is one of the biggest and oldest promotions in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the most respected names in the world. Stop it.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say time code this. I'm going to go ahead and say clip this if you want to. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think this is them getting around that. Because originally they tried to do that. They tried to do that where they had NXT UK. They were trying to get NXT Germany, I think, at the time. They were trying to get NXT Japan.
And then the pandemic hit.
This gets them around having to do all that. If you just have AAA, if, go over to England, buy out ICW, which was like Drew McIntyre's old stomping grounds, and have these, I don't want to say minor league, because they're major league for where they are, but have these possible feeder systems for you all over the world. The question is, like, them owning it, does it change how they're going to act? Yep, they did want Indy as well. Thank you, Big Mike, and welcome to the chat, sir. We aren't even out of the news, so we got plenty of show left, so thank you for joining us. The other implication is you've got the Alberto Del Rio of it all. Notable prick, Alberto Del Rio is their champ over there. And so what do we do with that? WWE insiders do say there's no official return for Alberto. Like, they're not talking about bringing him in, despite past conversations that they've had. Which the past conversations they've had really have just been like they said no and he said no. And so I'm going to take a wild guess that we're either going to try to buy out his contract, or if they can't buy out his contract, once that contract is up, we're done and you're gone.
Yeah. They're not going to put him on TV.
No.
And if they do, it's going to be very minimal.
Yep.
Do you have Twitter up?
I do have it up, yep.
Have you seen the WWE post about 25 minutes ago?
I have not.
It's back.
Yeah. Well, they kind of teased that it was coming back last week with the Thea Hell thing. So,
fuck yeah.
Yay, that's coming back. Big Mike will be happy. Sped will be furious. I agree with you, Big Mike. It's very telling he was not there for that announcement.
Right.
I mean, you not
100%.
having your champ there is very telling. But you know, as far as is WWE going to run it? Are they going to leave it in the hands of who's running it now? Like, obviously, those are things we'll learn as we're going through. But you know, they're kind of repeating what they did back in the day when Vince first took over. Is they're taking territories one at a time. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with it.
I don't want them to pull what Vince did, because this reeks of Vince. Yeah. This reeks of Vince McMahon.
Well, do you remember when Triple H first tried to spin NXT as a third brand and not just a development? He had this big presentation. It was a big whiteboard. It had a map on it, and he called it global localization. And he was trying to make it where every place that could possibly have wrestling has a local representation of WWE. We could do that with this, and that's fine. To me, though, like, let's flip it and say, okay, MLW just became big again, or is MLW?
Maple Leaf?
Yeah,
I have a feeling that even if they talk to Maple Leaf Wrestling, Scott D'Amore's response is going to be this.
And it might be.
After what happened to him with TNA, while this whole thing was going on,
but just,
if I'm him, y'all can go fuck yourselves.
But just to use that as an example, though, so if they call up Scott D'Amore and they say, hey, we want to go ahead and buy Maple Leaf, you run it, though. Like, that's what I think should be done. Is it's very much like the ECW thing back in the day, is we will fund the stuff for you, but this is still your promotion. This is still your show. Not that they wouldn't have, like, final say-so on stuff. Like, for instance, Alberto Del Rio, right? Dude's got to go. Aside from that, do what you want to. I very much think that they should leave it to who's running it, because it's great because of who's running it. If you go in there and make it a WWE product, now you just have a WWE product everywhere.
Here's my other problem. And this goes back to the entire conversation with Nick Khan. How many people are you going to bench to do this? How many people are you going to say, we'll give you an ID contract? I love that the ID people are still wrestling on independent shows.
Yeah. I'm
here for that. At what point do you stop that when you start doing shit like this?
Yeah. Well, and I want to again, I want to try to be positive about this. My hope is that absolutely bring back OVW. Go fund them. I want to see some.
Yes.
I want to see some Haley J on my WWE TV. But what I think is that this gives an opportunity for them not to bench people. Because, like, for instance, we just talked about Andrade. Andrade is not getting any play on TV, and it's because talented dude, nothing against him, he just can't get over the crowd.
He doesn't connect.
Now,
he connected in NXT because he had Zelina.
Yeah. You have AAA now. Go send him down there. Have him run with AAA. Have him try to figure out how to connect with the audience. And then maybe come back later and try it again. And you use that footage. You have that footage now of him doing things down there to help build his equity on WWE TV, rather than he just came back from AEW and we're not going to talk about that.
If I'm them, getting him over is a challenge.
Yeah.
This is one of those. I feel like we're going to end up digging into this really deeply, and we have a lot of other stuff to cover.
We do have a lot of other stuff to cover.
I think they've got to find a way to do it, and the best thing he can do. Oh shit! Put him with Seth.
Not a bad idea.
Put him with Seth. Send him after one of the lower end titles. Put him on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Make the Dangerous Alliance, whatever they're going to call this, the new Dangerous Alliance. Make it on both shows with different people.
Mm-hmm. Not a bad play.
Have Paul be his mouthpiece.
Not a bad play. I don't disagree with you, Mike, at all. I've said numerous times when we've talked about Andrade, he's not getting over the American audience. There's something missing there. He's not connecting. I saw a thing today. I don't know if it's 100% true, but there was a rumored thing of they had him sit down and watch like hours of TikTok to try to get him to see what like the common folk are talking about now to try to get him to connect.
That is the worst idea ever. What the fuck?
I don't know if that was real or not. It was just, like I saw that and I'm like, no, they're not. We're not doing that. That's horrible. He's gonna come out and start doing TikTok dances.
Is this where we are as a wrestling community? Is this where we are really? Is this what we're doing?
But anyway, so that's the news.
What the fuck? I can't.
We're going to go ahead and start with mine, and we'll roll into yours, and then we'll finish out our day here. So my 3 count. The first one, TNT title open challenge. Adam Cole calls out someone to come face him. He gets Claudio Castagnoli. First of all, Claudio does the walking from the outside thing into it, and he walks by a screen that just has Adam Cole on it, and the look he gives the screen, Adam Cole, is even intense. It's absolutely wonderful. But they played it very much David versus Goliath. Not just having someone come out there and handle it, but the Swiss Superman himself. And from the jump, you could tell like he was serious about it. He was really trying to get it. He chucked a chair that accidentally nailed Nigel. He looked legitimately pissed off. I don't know if like maybe they didn't have a walkthrough and a chair was where it wasn't supposed to be.
I don't think the chair was supposed to fly like it did.
But yeah, he chunked that thing. And you just knew at that point, like this vibe was different. He was out there to do business. And I'll be honest, I was surprised with that type of opening that he didn't get the title at the end of the day. But a roll-up win, but the rage is still real. Like he was pissed after that match.
I loved the roll-up win because it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was I'm going to roll up and get the fuck out of here.
Yep. My favorite thing though is there's the Panama Sunrise that got countered into the big swing. Like that was a great transition.
Great spot.
Loved it. Solid B+, I would say, of a match, but it was just good to see Adam Cole in like a match that mattered and a match that actually made some sense. And good to see Claudio on that level too. Like it's been a while since we've seen Claudio really get out there and do something on his own. My second, GCW's Effie's Big Gay Brunch 10, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Interview alumni Kid Bandit. Wonderful, wonderful match. The bout was a masterclass in art of submission wrestling from Zack Sabre Jr. We had a lot of great technical kicks and martial arts from Kid Bandit. There was technical mastery versus creativity in what she was doing. And it was a unique clash of styles, which you always kind of run that risk of like, you've got this technical masterpiece versus this martial artist. Is this going to mesh? Is it going to work? And it worked beautifully. She even brought out some technical moves that I haven't seen her do in a long time. Doing like a weird crossface, which also included her leg being over there. I think I've seen Sammy do something similar before, if I remember right. And pulling that kind of stuff out, it was really, really well done. She caused a rope break with Zack Sabre Jr., which is a
which
big
is
deal.
crazy.
You are welcome, Big Mike. We'll just leave that under
Getting
the table.
Zack Sabre Jr. to have to go to the ropes because he can't get out.
Yeah.
And I want to add a asterisk to this
Mhm.
in a good way. Kenny Omega put over Kid Bandit in a stream
Yep.
after this match, talking about how impressive they were. And I was just like,
Yeah. She's got a lot of play over this weekend, and a lot of people seeing exactly who they are. And I would guess that sooner rather than later we're gonna see her somewhere.
yeah,
They actually had a match on AEW. I don't know if you remember that. Like when AEW first started, they were a local talent. It was before the transition, um, but there was a match on AEW. So AEW has seen them wrestle before and has had them in their buildings. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing, or with WWE ID being a thing, bringing that in too. Um,
I wonder. Now, I will say there's been some people of that are in the ID program I've been surprised by
mhm.
because they're very obvious members of the LGBTQ community. Um, I don't think they're ready for that one yet.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hope they are.
I do.
I would absolutely love it, but I don't think they're ready for that yet.
Yeah. Um, Towards the end of the
Especially
match,
after some of the things that were said in interviews this weekend.
yeah. Um, at the end of the match, Zack Sabre Jr. does eventually secure the win. But like the demonstration of the ability that she has, the technique that she has, and just the presence. And that's the thing. Like you mentioned, the Kenny Omega shout out. That was the biggest thing he mentioned was like Bandit just has that thing where they come out and you want to root for them.
Yeah.
It's that it factor. And they have that. So with the fact that they have that and they have a good technical in ring, sky's the limit for what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But they were in like 7 other events over the weekend. I believe if I saw the tweet correctly today is going to be like a day off, and they're going to eat some ice cream and try to relax. So definitely worth it, worth the relaxation. Definitely deserve it. Great match of the weekend. And then my last one, my third one, the Raw after Mania Mayhem with Punk, Reigns, Rollins, and Breaker. So we finally get the viewing of Seth coming out, and he's got Paul with them, and they're doing the whole shtick. Minute changes in the character that people probably notice is Seth's more muted. It's not that he's not a little flamboyant. He had a yellow suit on. I mean, but it wasn't like big shoulder pads and rips and lace and all that stuff. It was just a very simple yellow suit with a shirt on underneath. Paul matched with the tie and with the handkerchief, matched the gold yellow.
The little things.
It's the little things. He gets on the mic, and we don't get the animated yelling of "I'm a visionary." It's very stoic. I'm a visionary. I'm a revolutionary. I took a wise man from Roman Reigns. I took a dream and a friend from CM Punk. I am set. Before he gets to get his name out, we hear Punk's music. Punk's comes out ready to go. We don't get its clobbering
Taping
time.
his hands as he walks down the aisle.
Yep, he's taping his hands. He's ready to go. He goes, hops in the ring. Immediately takes it to Seth. You get that kind of moment of you see Paul behind him looking like he's ready to do something, which I love that little bit of, like, I love that new energy in Paul of like, he's that tough New Yorker, and I'll punch you if I have to, until Punk turns around. Hey, Nick. Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
We're talking about the end of Raw last night. So, he turns around, he sees Paul, and Paul's like, he's again explained to him, like he told him at WrestleMania. He's like, you made me do this. Like you were my friend, and you were making me turn against my tribal chief. And Punk just gives up that point, grabs him by the breast, pushes him in the corner, just enough of a distraction for Seth to take care of it, takes him out, drops him. Then they're standing above Punk. Paul has the mic, and he's starting to say some things. And then we hear Roman's music. And this is where, like, it's beautiful because they don't do it all the time, which makes us always wait. But the credits are coming up. And then we hear Roman's music.
I was like, you are not going to shut this shit off as Roman's music hits.
Yeah. But so, no, they hold on. He comes out, spears the shit out of Seth. He ends up Superman punching Paul. He's about to do more. He's about to do that spear. And we get out of nowhere
a human missile.
A human missile Braun breaker. And similar to what we talked about with WrestleMania, if you look, when him and Seth are staring each other in the face, there's no flinch or anything when he goes to hit that spear. So he
what it reminded
he knew
me
it.
of?
He was part of it.
What's crazy is it reminded me of that scene in Endgame when Captain Marvel's standing there and Thor calls for Stormbreaker, and she doesn't move.
Yep.
That's what it reminded me of when I saw it happen. I was like...
But so then we have this moment, like, obviously he knew that it was happening. He knew he was going to end up spearing the other guy, but what are we doing here? And then he just comes up behind Braun, hugs him from behind. We get Seth raising both his and Paul's hand. Now we have the starting blocks of this new regime, of this new faction that's coming to be a thing. Is it a new Dangerous Alliance? Is it a Heyman family situation? What are we doing, and what are we building, and who do we add from here? We already had the Braun tie-in because when Braun needed someone to be there for him, Tribal Chief sent Paul down there to work with Braun and be in his corner. So we already kind of had that tie-in. And that means we also have a
moving pieces.
Yeah, that means we have an immediate beef too between Braun and Roman. Because Roman's like, I sent my guy down there to help you.
Yeah.
And you turn against me. So we already have that there. And then, as I mentioned, like at the end of it, we didn't get to see this live on the TV, but there was a video that came out after of Punk and Roman kind of sharing a look while they're up on the stage raising their arms. That looks like we're obviously going to have some sort of collaboration between those two to help
mutual agreement.
Yeah. So we got Reigns, Punk, Rollins, Breaker. It's all part of the same thing now. This core four of this new rivalry that's going to happen. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens going forward. And if anybody else gets added to this, I would love to have a Dangerous Alliance type of thing happen.
Who would you add?
Oh, let's see. You already have your semi-established star. You have Seth. So you already have the bigwig. You already have the young enforcer. We need to throw a tag team in there.
Right.
So we can do some tag team stuff. I think out of everyone that's there, I think the Profits kind of make the most sense to be in there.
Exactly where I was going. I would move them to Raw and put them in this.
Yeah.
Heads and Dawkins can talk. They can't talk like Paul.
Right.
You put them with somebody like Seth, it elevates them to a higher level.
Yeah.
And that's what they tried to do with Bobby, but the fans don't attach to Bobby like they do Seth.
Right.
Like hearing the fans go from Seth's music to CM Punk chants to OTC and back to Seth's music it tells you everything you need to know about Seth.
A-Town Down Under would not be bad either.
I think Waller's a problem with that.
He might
Waller,
be. If you could turn him more serious, I think you could. And that's what Big Mike says is turn them a little more serious.
I agree. I've never seen Waller do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Austin Theory do it. I've never seen Waller do it. And I don't know if it'll be believable if he does.
Yeah. And actually...
That's my only... It's a great call. 100% Big Mike. But I need them to give me a little more serious Waller before that happens.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he can just flip that switch.
To get out of the obvious story rut that they're in, which you'll understand after I say it, I would not be opposed against the New Day either. Because it gets them away from the Big E thing. Because that right now is what everybody's waiting for. They're waiting for some interaction with them and Big E. You put them in there, you have a legitimate tag team.
Something else we didn't talk about from this segment at the end of Raw, when Braun went around the ring and put Roman through the wall.
Yeah.
I don't see many that have done it as smoothly as that was.
Yeah.
And the way he checked on Roman after he did it. Like they're supposed to do, like he should.
Mm-hmm.
But just kind of that hand.
Yeah, just real quick, like squeeze, kind of give the Iggy.
To me, Braun did it when he was on his hands and knees.
Mm-hmm.
And because the clip popped up, somebody did it with the Sonic rings.
Yeah. Of course they did.
And Braun, when he was on his hands and knees, said something.
Yeah.
And Roman just kept going.
Yeah.
Which told him he was good.
Absolutely.
So I think putting the New Day with him wouldn't be bad. Have Theory bust out on Waller and join them too.
Yeah, have him be like the Stunning Steve of it back in the day, of like the up and comer kid who's still kind of in the mid. Because that's the thing with Braun. I think Braun is going to be the standout. I think Braun eventually turns on the group, and maybe that's just again Wrestle fan is going to break his own heart later down the line when they don't do what he says. But Braun is that person where sooner rather than later he is going to be in that higher role. He's going to be the one that's going to be rubbing Seth the wrong way because he's going to be getting bigger than Seth, or at least trying to. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to yours. So your number one, we have Gunther snapping on Raw commentary after his WrestleMania loss.
So Jay comes out, has his celebration, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have different thoughts about that. Did I give that as one of mine? I didn't.
No.
Okay.
I was worried that they were going to turn on him, though. I was so worried. Every time.
I thought there was 2 or 3 different times that I thought Sammy's going to do something.
Yeah.
So we get through this. Jay brings up Gunther tapping out. Michael Cole and McAfee talk about it. We go to commercial. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We come back from commercial, and Gunther is at commentary yelling at Michael Cole.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole's like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
What is your problem? And then as Gunther comes up to him, he says, and I mean, I don't want to say it, but you're the one that tapped out. What are you doing? So then
the fact that Cole nutted up, just like, because he's walking to Gunther while he's saying this shit. Like, he's not hiding behind the desk.
And then McAfee steps up and Gunther shoves him down. Pat McAfee's boys are right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody from his show, there's 6 of them?
Yeah.
They're all right there. So Gunther grabs Cole and slaps the sleeper on him. And McAfee runs up and does basically a forearm shiver to Gunther's head.
Yeah.
And then squares up. And I'm like, just get in the ring.
Yeah.
So about that time, everybody comes down. They get between them.
Mhm.
McAfee turns to walk back around the desk, and Gunther hits him with the sleeper. His face was really purple.
Mm-hmm.
I think he told Gunther to choke him out.
He might have. I could see him doing it.
But the second Gunther hits that sleeper, McAfee's boys come over the wall, and I'm like, that's how you do your boy. That's what you should do.
Yep.
And of course, everybody got between them. Props to Jessica Carr. She sold the absolute shit out of this.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he hit Cole.
Yeah. He missed a little bit on that shiver. That's
okay.
Cole had mentioned a couple of times, like, I think he broke my nose. It wasn't from Gunther.
I thought it was from Gunther.
No.
Okay. I thought it was when Gunther like grabbed a hold of him and spun him around.
Yeah.
I thought he had locked him up and smacked him in the nose. But Jessica Carr is the ref by Gunther's head and is selling the absolute hell out of this. And when it finally ended, I saw her lean down to say something. And this is one of those moments where I need them to find a better way to communicate that's not so obvious. Whether it's a tap on the shoulder, it's something that's not a verbal response to say, fucking let him go, bro. He's purple. This segment was crazy.
Yeah.
McAfee gets up, and I'm just like, God damn, bro, you got fucked up. His boys are all with him. They're walking him to the back. Cole walks off with him, and I'm like, who the fuck's going to do commentary?
Yeah.
So we come back from commercial, and you see them all taking him back there, and you hear Joe Tessitore.
Yeah.
Which props to Tess.
Yeah.
I mean, man showed up. And
well, and I love, just real quick we talk about the little things, right? I love the little thing of he was not dressed for commentary.
No.
Like, it was quite obvious that storyline wise, they just grabbed him from the back. It was like, get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And he just came out there and did it.
They took McAfee to the back, get him in there, and
yep.
Adam Pearce is like, if you need to take some time, and Cole's like, he basically said, nah, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, because he first called out the fact, he was like, what are you going to do? Because if we can't come out here and do our job, have our opinion, and say what we need to say about this, we can't do our job. And so Pierce is like, I've got it. We're going to handle it. Don't worry about it. Take some time off. Obviously, you got a little rattled out there. And he's like, no, I'm not going to let some bully come out here and make it where I can't do my job.
Big Mike, I guarantee next Monday, Pat says that too. Yeah, you may have done that to me, but guess what? I didn't tap out.
That's right. I can't wait for what he has to say.
Cole's whole bully thing, the crowd cheers, and then as he comes out, they start chanting for Michael Cole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did we just reopen the coal mine? Are these the new coal miners? Is that what this is?
Coal miners never left. Coal miners been here with him the entire time.
And then when he went back on commentary, he didn't hardly say anything.
No. He came, he got the headset back on. Tessitore did a lot of the talking.
And then you hear him a couple times. Do we have an update on Pat? Like talking to somebody off. And I'm like, these are those little touches that just made this segment so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the aftermath. And if it gives me, like I said today, if it gives me McAfee Gunther, I'm so here for that.
Oh yeah, I'm good with it. I've seen a lot of people complaining. It's the way we opened up the show. I wanted to make sure everybody was aware we are not going to be doing this negative stuff. People are dogging this because, like, oh, well, that's going to be his next thing is Pat McAfee. Why not? You give him someone he can tear through and become that evil, maniacal, devilish heel again. Because he just lost his title. Give him something to build him back up. And if that's beating the hell out of McAfee, who will give him a good match, why not? Let's do that.
McAfee will make him look great.
Yeah,
and he'll sell the shit out of it. And he'll do something crazy. And it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Even if Gunther loses, it's still going to be great.
Yeah. I don't think he'll lose personally. And again, that's one of those, like, clip this. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think he gets that comeback. He does something crazy. He gets him off his feet. But then eventually he gets caught.
Same, Big Mike. Right. I didn't either, but I'm here for it.
Well, and let's
say Gunther loses because he, like, gets disqualified.
Okay. Yeah.
Won't get back in the ring, kind of thing.
The thing about this, though, what they've been doing a lot down in NXT, we're seeing some of it here on the main card too, is they're starting to rehash old storylines from, like, back in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression era, and this is very much Jerry Lawler and JR. Like, you got wrestler picking on JR. JR cannot defend himself. Right. Former wrestler steps in. Don't mess with my boy.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised, like, if we end up getting Cole in a match because, Gunther demands it, and finally Cole's like, I'm going to do it, and then he gets beat down a little bit. McAfee comes out and helps him with that. Playing that story very much. But it's going to be fun. Like, just enjoy it. It's going to be fun. Your number 2, Dirty Dom survives Penta thanks to JD McFreakin'
The bobblehead is back. First of all, for this man to be back already after how badly he got fucked up.
Punctured lung.
He hit that table. I thought it was a head injury.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought he was dead. I thought he got, like, external decapitation is what they call it. Internal decapitation.
I didn't call this one. I would not have been surprised if Penta had won the title.
Yeah.
But the match was great. It went down like we expected. What amazes me is how out of the loop Finn seems to be. So one of two things is happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Mike, I'm here for it. One of two things.
Just to add to that real quick, I would love to see a scene where he does that and he passes out and he gets so mad he wakes him the fuck up, like slaps the shit out of him. No. Wake up. You're going to tell me you quit.
That's what I'm talking about. The Gunther losing is something like that.
He just goes over the edge.
They stop the match and he's like, nah. And he smacks the shit out of McAfee to wake him up. And then we keep, then
keeps doing it until he taps out.
Yeah. I'm real curious to see where they're headed with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think we end up with Finn Dom. I don't think we get it till, like, SummerSlam.
I could see that.
And I don't think it's going to be Finn. I think we get the Demon because it's a 2-night SummerSlam in New York. Brooklyn, I want to say Brooklyn, he busted out the Demon, and that place went apeshit.
Yeah. I do think that's where we're headed here.
I know they're doing this in New Jersey and everything's legal in New Jersey, but if you do this, I want it to be almost a cage match. Because have the match ahead of time, like Money in the Bank. Dom wins through some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Or just runs away because he doesn't lose the title on account of.
Yeah.
get a cage match. The demon comes out and Dom loses it, but he can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
I need something like that
I can see that.
to pay this off. So I just, like we talked about earlier, the fans are cheering the shit out of Dom, which is funny. And I'm here for it.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. The look on Finn's face when he sees JD come in there and help out, like he looks dumbfounded. Like he didn't know JD was back. He didn't know this was the plan. And they even said it on commentary of Dom always has something in the works. And so he had this worked out.
I disagree, Mike. Bringing the demon out in a heel situation, you're going to get a certain amount of crowd reaction, but the second he starts doing heel stuff, they're going to boo him. And I think booing Finn's pretty simple right about now.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not that we can't run Dom as a heel while they're cheering him. If at the end of this we get Finn as the demon, because then, like you said with previous when he's done it in New York, they'll go ape shit. And so then at that point you have the demon Finn as the face in the match. They can get out of that pretty easily. They're just going to have to get it moving. Like we can't. Once you make that decision of they're going to face each other, and that's where, like, if it's going to be SummerSlam, okay, that's fine. But then we run this story all the way like to the week before SummerSlam. Have him just still be in Judgment Day, and he's like just irritated because they're doing whatever the hell they want. He's not the leader anymore, whatever it is. And then 2 weeks before, that's when he finally loses his shit. He's like, no, that's it. We're done. We're doing a match, cage match, Hell in a Cell, whatever they want to do with it. I will say, I kind of want it to be something more brutal because I want to give Dom that opportunity. Hey, Resident Evil, welcome. I want to see him have that opportunity like Triple H had with Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
Where, thank you, Resident Evil, for subscribing. Appreciate you. Absolutely. Drake up there. Saying hi. Did you not see it on the screen?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. I was like, Drake Maverick was up there. Second greatest 24/7 champ in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Good looking out.
But give him that opportunity to show something more vicious and less funny to elevate him to that level. Blairsville, Georgia. You ever been in Georgia? You're the one that travels. I don't go anywhere.
No, I went through it as a kid, but I've never been like to Georgia to stay for any amount of time.
Okay.
And I should probably say yet because we've talked about the Atlanta Zoo like 4 times now.
There you go. We're in Oklahoma here, so belt buckle of the United States.
The butthole of the United States. Florida's the Wang of the United States. Anyway, I feel like there's a lot they can do with this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to take time, and I'm fine with that. Noam Dar is disrespectful. He literally licked his hand and tried to rub Lexus King's beard off.
Nice.
It's just disrespectful, sir.
We're going to go and move on to your number 3, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir. A dream match interrupted.
Io comes out. Now, I've seen the video of them showing each other respect, and then Io saying, like, I won a match with Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So Stephanie comes out, I want to face the best. And I'm like, Io says, let's do it right now. Well, then Pierce's bald-headed ass comes out, And I thought for sure he was going to fuck this up for all of us and be like, we're not doing it here, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we end up getting the match. These two tore it down. This
Absolutely.
was such a great match.
I'm going to do my Stampede impression. I'm going to give a fact about this that not a lot of people know. This is the first time they've been in, aside from Battle Royals, in the ring together since Mexico. I think it was 10 years ago. If I was looking at that right.
This is their first one-on-one ever.
No, they had one.
Oh, did they?
It was in Mexico. But they haven't had a one-on-one match. They've been in Battle Royals together, but haven't had a one-on-one match in this entire time.
Big Mike, you're not wrong. I was like, stop it. We are not doing this again. So
real quick, Resident, we're thinking it's probably Friday. A lot of vignettes are
I don't
pointing
think
to
it is.
Yeah, we'll see. The vignettes that they have playing that they think are Alistair are all saying it's going to happen this Friday. So we'll see this Friday what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if it's both, though. I mean, Jesus, we had how many returns and such here just on Raw. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have more than one return on SmackDown.
Fair enough.
But anyway, so we end up getting the match. The match is fire. They're absolutely wonderful
together. Was so good.
We do get the widow's kiss or whatever she calls it. Devil's kiss.
I can't with the crowd sounding just like Booker T. And then Michael Cole being like, it's a good thing Booker T wasn't here because he'd have had a heart attack.
I love it.
But the crowd doing the same thing Booker does is so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So this happens. Great match going on. And then out of nowhere, Roxanne Perez comes in.
Literally nowhere. Like
literally. I never saw her at all. And then Julia showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is happening?
And apparently they've joined forces.
Yes. Give me all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting the beat down on. Here comes
Stephanie.
Mommy.
Yeah. Who has a massive shiner.
Yes, she has a massive black eye. The sheer terror on Roxanne's face was perfect.
Played beautifully.
Julie, on the other hand, was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Give me every bit of that.
Absolutely. There was that little bit of stare down between the two of them.
With Roxanne now, and give me all of that.
Yep. Well, and that cleans up that women's NXT hierarchy, because right now it is very muddy on the top of the card for the women. And so if this is a unofficial call up for Roxanne and for Julia, all right. If Stephanie was their way to lead them up there, I'm down. Let's do it. Oh, okay. See, I haven't been watching tonight yet, so they just had the same idea. Both of them just showed up at the same time. Okay. That's fine too. They did seem a little too much on the same page while they were doing the beatdown.
I'm not buying that.
So that may be the play.
Side of it. This is another set of people you could bring up and put with Heyman.
Well, they're going to need a woman. Like that's.
I think it's going to be Becky. After what Becky did, I think it's going to be Becky.
Yeah.
But you could 100% do something with these two as well. Because I don't know how well Julia's going to get over on the main roster cutting live promos.
I think she could be fine. The crowd, and then again, we got to remember this is the sicko crowd. This is the night after WrestleMania crowd. So obviously they're a little more hardcore fans than what we normally would get in a Raw crowd.
True.
But I mean, they got behind Stephanie and Io, and they're very much that, like, there's that language barrier of they speak English, but it's not their first language, and it's quite obvious. So maybe she get through just fine, because Julia, like, she's about the same cadence as those two, so maybe her ability can win over her mouth. But I do think maybe having a person speak for her to start with might be the better idea. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Unofficial 3 count. We'll go ahead and take that off there. Just because Raw was so massive, we had a return that we did not expect to happen. So a little tie-in for this. So the New Day decided they were going to go in there and run their mouth, and great promo. Love it. Someone had mentioned something, which I'll say here in a second, which intrigues me. But so they're in there running their mouths. The Alpha Academy come out. Maxine looking absolutely gorgeous. Mentions that you guys are the best tag team in the world, right? Well, the last time you faced Alpha Academy, we beat you. So maybe we run that back. They all get in the ring. One of the last lines that Xavier Woods said was, "Thank God for the New Day." What was Rusev's gimmick?
They're going to bring out the Redeemer.
I'd be perfectly fine with it if that's what we're doing. That it may be stretching, it may be, that may be reaching and connecting dots that don't connect, but that is kind of interesting that they say that, and here comes the Redeemer himself.
And the quickness with which they dipped.
They dipped quicker than when they won the titles. Because they won those titles and ran. But Rusev comes out, massive pop, and dude's looking amazing.
He looks
shaved his head down. I think he stole my look a little bit, and I'm a little salty by that, but we'll get over that. He's in a lot better shape than I. He was looking stacked. Looking absolutely stacked. Came in there, run roughshod through Alpha Academy, which I'm sure that sets up like next week he'll face Tozawa. Week after that he'll face Otis. It's kind of the normal thing of when you end up beating those two down, you face the smaller one, face the bigger one. To me, the story that's interesting is them in the New Day, though, because Woods is talking trash and he's staring them down. Do you think possibly, we talked about litmus test a lot in this, do you think this was a test to see how's the crowd going to see him cheer or boo?
Maybe.
Because he didn't really have an intention of who he was attacking. He came out there and he kind of attacked everybody that was in the ring. Just New Day dipped before he got to them.
I do think some of that was, how are people going to respond? But I do also think it was just a, hey, I'm back. It's time to fuck some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't come out with him, but CJ Perry was in the building.
She was. I don't know if they're going to do anything with her. She did sign a Legends deal. So she is officially Legends as far as sign. Absolutely, Big Mike. Maxine's promo was great. I love how much she's grown.
How much better she's gotten.
In the time that she's been there. And she's put in the work. She's down there, like, the whole mini storyline they had with her being trained by Natty, like, she's actually been down in the dungeon and trying to get better. And obviously has been working on her promos because it worked out really well. Like, she's been doing very well on the mic.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see them do more with that little group. I think, to me, they're very much in that, like, too cool role of, like, they could be a tag team. You could slip in there for fun. And if they won, they won. If they lost, they lost. It wouldn't really matter. They're just there as fun.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect comparison.
Only I would much rather be stink faced by Maxine than I would Rikishi. I did it for the stink face. But anyway, I digress. It was a really good Monday night, though. It's again, like, I'm seeing a lot of negativity online of, like, worst Monday after ever, and it was a decent show. Like,
Stephanie came out, Roxanne and Julia came out, Rusev came back.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't.
Yes, there was only 38 minutes of actual wrestling in a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
No one expects the Monday after Raw, after WrestleMania, to
To
be
be
a
a wrestling show.
WrestleFest.
Yeah.
They're all fucking tired.
I mean, it's GM mode, right? You rest them after the pay-per-view. They're
Literally.
all tired. But we'll kind of see where that goes. I do want to go ahead and bring up again, just because the video did pop up right in front of me here. They did post, "We are back." Andre Chase U is back.
I'm so excited about this, and I feel really stupid for being excited about this because I hated it the first time.
But I love it. I want to get my T-shirt now. I wear that proudly. Is there anything else specifically you want to call? I mean, it's been a long wrestling weekend. It's been an ice cream.
There has been so much.
Every year I call it Ice Cream Christmas because that's just what it feels like to me. Of everything that's good happens this weekend. Between all the indie shows, between TNA having their little bit, AEW had a little bit with Collision. It's amazing. It's an amazing weekend. One of these days, we're going to be there for that. I know that it's going to happen. That we're going to be in the middle of all that. And who knows? Maybe next year, because of what we've hosted. We did talk
about shit. We didn't, because I haven't watched the interview.
Yeah, we
I haven't caught it yet, so I
touched
didn't
on it,
see...
but we didn't actually talk about it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole interview, and I want to watch this one, and I don't watch many of the interviews.
Yeah. It was really good.
The
it's
number
very
of
telling.
responses that we got this weekend from people that are famous and famous adjacent was crazy.
It was. My main thing though is I posted just kind of a joke tweet of like, how do you get the job to commentate for the Big Gay Brunch, because we'd love a shot at that. And then one of the commentators,
I said only if Veda joins us.
Yeah.
And then Pollo Del Mar liked it, and I think somebody else did.
I don't think that's the one Viperous did. Viperous liked a couple of the things we said. But I want to say, damn it, the other commentator, the main commentator that was there,
Dana Scott.
Yeah, I think she did. But I mean, we'll put our hat in that ring all day long. I would love to do some commentary. I think it would be a lot of fun. If there's any locals out there that wants to do it, we'll be glad to do that. If anybody wants to have some virtual commentators like they do on DPW, I'll do that in a heartbeat too. I'll sit in my chair and just watch your wrestling and commentate on it. Let's do it. We are effing back. Big Mike, absolutely.
Abaddon posted about their match, and I said it was amazing, and Sonny kissed, and I tagged Sonny in it, and Sonny liked it. I was pretty happy with that.
Yep.
The teacher from the wrestling club liked one of my posts. Amanda posted a picture of her and Alex Littlefoot, and I liked it and said it looked amazing. And Alexis liked it. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we got responses to, and I was like, "Oh shit, oh okay."
Well, and it's not like we haven't had that happen before, but it's always amazing when it does happen. Like, you have that little moment of you've been noticed by someone that you watch, someone you enjoy, and someone you're a fan of.
Especially this weekend.
Yeah. So much happened this weekend. I still have so much to go catch up on, and I'm still going to catch up on, which means that Thursday while we're playing GM mode, we may be talking about some of the wrestling we watched, because I still plan on catching up with some of the other stuff that happened this weekend. But yeah, just
show.
There's
just so much.
We are back on Thursday with GM mode. We've been off from doing that for a while, so we'll be back on that 9:00 Central Standard Time this Thursday. But real quick, before you go anywhere, when a thief's stash goes missing, Sean sets out to uncover the loot, but things take a turn when he's roped into a spiritual side hustle with a grieving widow claiming her late husband is sending messages from beyond. John's got one eye on the clues and one foot in the afterlife. Can he crack the case and make contact with the dearly departed? Find out next on Psych, where the cons are criminal and the vibes are spooky. Guys, we appreciate you being here with us. Catch us on all of the socials down below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We got a new subscriber tonight. Thank you, Resident Evil AMC, for that. If you're still here with us, drop in here what you actually want to be called, unless you just want to be called Resident Evil, in which case I'll just call you Resident Evil. But
I'm good with that.
With that, in the meantime and in between times, this is Kicking Out Too. I am Michael. With me, as always, my auditory tag team partner, Tori. Big Mike, thank you for being in the chat and keeping us honest as you always are. We will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.